Hey, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And guys, as usual, this is your host, Mike Spiderslayer. Guys, you have come back for another countdown video. That's right, Mike Spiderslayer each and every week takes a whole bunch of the comics that he's read and does a countdown all the way from the worst to the best. So, I was away this weekend. I actually went to a Nickelodeon Sweets. Saw a whole bunch of cool things, but I did manage to get my reading in. So this is how you have a countdown this week. So with that being said, let's get started. We have 13 books all together, lots to discuss. And here we go. Number 13, Dinosaurs Attack, issue number 2. Now there wasn't a whole lot of horrible comics this week. And this one wasn't actually as bad as the first one. This particular book, you actually had dinosaurs attack the Earth. The whole last issue was a whole setup issue where you learn about Prometheus and what this machine does and how the dinosaurs come to land. And basically, it kind of brings the Earth back in time or whatnot and regenerates past history. Well, the dinosaurs are in this history, and you get to see that in this particular issue is they wind up just killing all sorts of people. They show up out of nowhere. Hopefully you can see these images. They show up out of nowhere. They rematerialize and they go on the bridges and they go on the boats and they just start eating people and they start, doing all kinds of crazy stuff to destroy the Earth. There wasn't really any main plot here. Actually, people are sitting here going, I don't know if this is real because it's not happening in their area until it happens in this one area, until it happens in their specific area. You get the president who's denying things, thinks it's a terrorist attack, until you get all kinds of like pteranodons or pterodactyls here that are involved. And it's just a crazy issue. It was kind of funny. You got people blood splattered all over Washington's monuments and things like that. And then by the time you get to the end of the issue, you just find out that, well, we're kind of shit out of luck. So, I don't know. Will I be reading the next issue? I don't know. We'll find out. But it says there's no place to run, there's no place to hide, and they're all around us, in some case, literally. So, I don't know. Again, I read this digitally. It's a very weak issue, very weak story plot now. Where the story goes from here, who knows. But I'm giving this one a 1.5 out of 5. Next, number 12. Daredevil, issue number 30. I wasn't fond of this particular issue of Daredevil. It was really technically just a filler issue. I was excited for the Silver Surfer in this particular book. However, it just felt forgettable and lackluster-ish. We get to see a new DA that enters Matt Murdock's office, and it looks like she's going to be taking the place of Foggy, but kind of inserts herself in there, kind of no one's permission. But in this issue, you meet this weird alien guy that I didn't care for as a character in here, and the Silver Surfer's been chasing him all over the millennia and stuff like that, and you see him trying to fight the guy, and it was kind of just like a chase issue. Paneling's good. The artwork is always consistent in this book. I did like this page, however, but this story just didn't do it for me this particular month. And again, it's a filler issue. There's nothing to this particular book. And it looks like we're getting into the thick of things in the next story that's called The Jester's Court. So I'm giving this one a 2.5 out of 5. I really didn't like this book at all. I found myself bored and almost falling asleep when I actually read it. Next, number 11, Oz, issue number 2 from Grimm Fairy Tales. If you're familiar with Oz, or the Wizard of Oz, you kind of got to get a gist of this already. You really don't have to read too much to understand how the Wizard of Oz works. It's just their twist of things. In this particular issue, we find out that Dorothy winds up living in or landing in Oz because of the Wicked Witch of the East or the West, or I don't know which one she is now. But the Wicked Witch is the one that winds up sending her here. And Dorothy has this specific magic thing that's very powerful, and there's 3 parts, and you wind up learning that it's separated into these different parts. Or this particular thing vanishes one of the Wicked Witches, and she has sisters and everything else, so it's not the end of them. But Dorothy wants to get home, and obviously they have to get to Oz or whatnot because they learn about this specific character that can send them in. And along the road, they come across the Scarecrow, who looks like, I guess, worked for the Wicked Witch at one time. It was an alright issue. It wasn't horrible. It was entertaining. Of course, you get the seamstress that dresses up Dorothy, you know, to make her more sexy. The artwork is all okay in here. The Cowardly Lion is not really cowardly. His name is, I think it's like Thorn or whatnot, and his people got killed, and you know, because of the Wicked Witch. It was interesting. It wasn't a bad book, really, at all. I just thought there would be a little bit more in-depth of story, or maybe change it a little bit more, but it wasn't horrible. At the end of the issue, you find out that they come across these werewolves, and they have to try to stop them. So we'll see where it goes. But I thought it was kind of average. But, you know, again, it's up to you guys if you want to get this one. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Number 10. Nova, issue number 7. The book that has Superior Spider-Man in it. And when you open up the book, it has this editor's note in here that says, well, this story takes place before Superior Spider-Man number 14, but takes place after the Amazing Spider-Man 700. So they like dedicate this whole little paragraph into this particular issue. And Superior Spider-Man is literally in the issue for maybe, I don't know, 2 pages, 3 pages. Yeah. And he's really kind of a super dickhead in this particular issue. This is the Superior that everybody hates, where he's so arrogant, that he's so conceited, that he pisses people off. And Nova realizes that in the issue. He's like, well, Superior Spider-Man's kind of an asshole. You know, the artwork in Superior here doesn't really fit for me. He's kind of real bug-eyed in this particular issue. They make him kind of look, his body structure makes him look a little thinner than he should be. Makes him feel like he has kind of a, I don't know, a younger personality, just the way he's drawn. But Nova's whole thing is he wants to be a hero, and he wants to help people. And Superior's like, well, not here. We got superheroes flying out the kazoo. We got Iron Man here. We got Superior here. We got Avengers over here. And it's like, okay, so he tries going to California, and it was like complete nonsense. It was like, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to stop this, you know, chase that's going on, and wound up being this whole acting thing. The only cool thing that I got out of this whole issue, really, that kind of saved it a little bit, was you get to see the New Warriors in this particular book. And when you saw the New Warriors, you're like, oh, and you saw Speedball, you're like, dude, oh yeah, this is a sign that we're getting back together, because Nova was part of the New Warriors as well. And if you do check out the AR in the particular issue, it gives you a brief summary of where the New Warriors came from, how they were disbanded, how their funding ran out, and it led up until the Civil War point where Stamford, Connecticut wound up getting blown up. So they show that in the AR, which was pretty cool, and I did enjoy that. However, besides that, really, it just shows Nova as trying to be a good guy, and he wants to help people along. So even if it's just cleaning up the skate park that was destroyed in his local town and helping a couple construction guys, then that's what it takes. And by the end of the issue, you see the Watcher, and of course, next you see this guy, which is Thanos, and you get to see that there is a tie-in for Infinity, and that's where this book leads next month. So all in all, this issue was okay. I feel that it had decent meaning to it, but not a very, you know, a story that really had to do with anything. Again, filler issue. I'm giving this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next, we have Venom number 9 this week. We get to witness a new symbiote that takes shape and form. She was the girl. Her name was Andy. And what happened is how she actually gets the power, or the symbiote, was because Venom in the last issue tried to protect her from getting killed by Jack-o'-lantern. And the last resort that he could do was sit there and use the symbiote to protect her. And then what happens is you wind up getting a new Venom-like creature. And in the issue, you see Flash, who tries to retract the symbiote back, and it was impossible. The symbiote has bonded to her very quickly. It's like a natural instinct for her. It's like she was made for the symbiote. You get to see her, you know, kick some ass in this particular issue. You have Flash being kind of like the teacher-student aspect, saying, don't kill this person, don't kill that person. And she wanted revenge because she felt that her dad got killed, and why should Jack-o'-lantern live in this particular issue. However, Jack is not the real Jack. There's some guy that worked in a storage facility and wound up coming across Jack-o'-lantern stuff, and his stuff wound up, I guess, possessing his brain or whatnot, which was pretty odd. And again, I'm not a fan of the artwork in this particular book. Don't know what to think of Andy, the new Venom creature, at this particular point, where she stands in this Marvel universe, how she's going to make an impact. I think it's kind of cool, but it's not the greatest thing. Again, the whole issue had to do with her fighting her demons already to try not to, you know, kill people. And that's what Flash was pointing out to her. And then at the end of the issue, you find that Andy moves somewhere else with her. I guess it's her aunt or whatnot. And her and Flash still keep in touch with a secured line. They call it the Venom Hotline, which I thought was kind of cheesy, but it's cool how they still keep in contact. And where this character goes, we don't know from here. I did find out that the Venom title is getting canceled right now, and I'm kind of disappointed at that. But in the end, where do you feel that Venom was actually going at this point? It kind of goes from story to story, and it kind of rehashes old stories. How long can you keep Flash Thompson on his own? I don't know. But it's disappointing for people who did just jump onto this book. But again, you know, things come, you know, get canceled here and there. And I found out in the next story arc we're getting a new artist. So it was all right. It was cool. It was 3.5 out of 5 stars for me. Again, I hate the artwork in this book right now, but again, we're getting a new artist. So nothing so far that's really, you know, got me excited. Number 8, Pandora issue number 3, which is followed up by number 7, which is Justice League issue number 23. You don't really have to read this to get what's going on in this. However, this heightens this. So, to make a long story short, when you read Justice League Dark, you find out that Wonder Woman is, I guess, has possession of the box, which was the huge cliffhanger at the end of the last issue. And she can't be stopped. She's like all powerful. She kicks some serious ass at this point. And what happens then is she winds up dropping the box, and then Shazam gets the box. And then you see all this going on. And you're like, oh, this is the heart of everything, because Deadman feels it, and he's like, Shazam seems to be like the heart of everything. And then in the issue, you also see everybody going after the box, and Pandora's like, oh, it's the box, it's talking to him, it's, you know, it's making everyone feel everything. And I didn't feel that this issue really hit it out of the park this time. It's kind of like almost a filler-like issue for this event, because we didn't get anything. You get Constantine coming back, you get Shazam coming back, Santana gets shipped off to London, you get Batman here, and his team come out of the House of Mystery, and then you get left with this cliffhanger right here. But nothing was really moved the story forward, and I guess that's what kind of disappointed with me. It was like almost a big out brawl between all the Justice League members over the box. And the reason why they fought over the box was because the sins were making them do that. So if you didn't get that issue, if you didn't get this issue, you're kind of just like, okay, why is the box doing this? Or, well, now you get to visually see it. You get to see envy and glutton and all the 7 deadly sins kind of take over all the Justice League members fighting over this box, and of course having their will over Pandora. And Pandora feels lost, doesn't know what to do, but all of a sudden she kind of has this epiphany, and she's like, oh, I know what to do now. And she kind of takes out, I think, Envy at the end of the issue, and she's just like, oh, well, who's next? Which was pretty cool to see. Again, the thing with Marcus and the agent and the Shade agents and the Argus agent was kind of a forgettable thing. But they're going to play a role in this as the series goes along, I have a feeling. But again, these two go hand in hand. They're almost like the same book, but you don't have to read this to read this, really. So that is your number 8 and number 7 book of the week. Next, we have number 6, which I got a lot of people asking me, Mike, why didn't you get this book last week? Well, I was thinking of trying to save some money and read this book digitally. However, it didn't show up last week. I'm looking through it, and the week was skipped. So the book I went back this week to buy was this right here, which was Star Wars issue number 8. And I'm happy I bought this book. I really am. And I don't think I'm going to read it digitally. I tried thinking I was going to do it, but after reading this issue, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to skip out on this book anymore. It's just a good book. It's just that true Star Wars book. You know, you get a little summary of everything that goes on, which was nice to see, and you get Luke Skywalker and Wedge Antilles sneak on the Devastator, which is I guess the Star Destroyer, the Star Destroyer to be on, and they're trying to hack into their, I guess, communication systems, which was nice to see. Along the way, as the issue goes along, you get to see Perel, I think is her name, which is the garbage person for the Imperial City, and Han Solo trying to escape Slave One, which Boba Fett is in hot pursuit because Han Solo has that huge bounty on his head. So you got to see like a little dog fight going on in this particular issue, and also you get to see Princess Leia again trying to find a home world for her people to live in. Darth Vader has sent in a spy to be on this Star Destroyer as well. But the key thing of this issue that I liked was Luke Skywalker trying to use his like Jedi-like skills, sneaking aboard a lightsaber in the issue, and he has it in pieces, and he winds up assembling it and lights it up, and you see him go against stormtroopers or whatnot. Really great book here. Great artwork all the way through. Paneling is nice. It's action-packed. It's a good-paced book. It's a fun read. Again, I've said it before. If you're a classic Star Wars fan, you're going to love this. Bossk was in hot pursuit of Chewbacca throughout the entire issue, which was cool. And by the time we get to the end of the issue, we see that there's an old Clone War ship that invites Princess Leia to come on board because he feels that he was a part of Alderaan, and she starts going in here. And the R2-D2, the R2-T4 droid bot is warning Princess Leia not to go inside of it. And you kind of get left because this is all you see at the end of this particular issue is her going in it, and you don't see it anymore. And you're like, oh man, what happens there? And also you get left with Slave One just above Han Solo. So great stuff here. It's a fun read, great action, great book. I slipped it into this week's countdown because I knew it was not #1, so I decided to put it in this week's books. So this week it got #6, and great book. I give it a 4 out of 5. Top 5. Number 5. Animal Man, issue number 23. This is the first issue that I have ever read of Animal Man. And however, even though I kind of felt lost and wasn't sure what was going on with all the characters or whatnot, I enjoyed the issue. You get to see this character by the name of Brother Blood, who looks like who is going to be, I guess, in control of the Red, or wants to be in control of the Red, and instead of Buddy Baker, I guess is our main character's name. I think that's his name. Yeah, Buddy Baker, who's Animal Man. And I'm sorry if I don't know, but I have never read Animal Man before, but I hear such great things about it. And obviously, he was this actor or whatnot, and he gets Twitter feeds, which you see on this page here, which is awesome to see. And I guess you get to see this little girl who her name I think is Maxine, who they call her the Queen of the Red. So if you guys want to just put your comments below on the Animal Man aspect on who she is she related to Animal Man? Who is she? But she goes on this adventure to find, I think his name is Cliff or whatnot, and to try to find him before he gets resurrected. And she goes with all these weird looking creatures, which I found her character very interesting. She's like this happy-go-lucky, positive like person. And as we go along here, we find that Animal Man goes into this prison, and all of a sudden what happens is I guess he goes to want to get information from this guy or whatnot. And then we go into this church beneath Hollywood Hills, the Church of Blood, and we get to go across Brother Blood, and he feels that he should be the sole one of the Red or whatnot. And he goes, and his followers go through great length to get some blood, and he goes to drink the blood, and he is now becoming, I guess, the sole person of the Red, or the avatar of the Red, or the one who's in control, because there is one of the avatars or whatnot gave him possession to do so, or gave him the permission to do so, and everyone else is being affected, like Buddy Baker and Maxine, and then I guess I don't know who that is. She wakes up too, and so it's real interesting to see what happens here. And it just says in 2 months who will rule the Red. So I'm sorry if I can't give a really great review on this, but it was really cool to see like these avatars, one of them go against Buddy Baker and give this person the control of the Red, and he's killing everybody else. And this seems to be an interesting character, but where did he come from? I'm not too sure. But I really enjoyed the issue. The reading was nice, the artwork was nice, it flowed smoothly, and I have a feeling that I'm going to kind of enjoy this series as it goes along and as I get more familiar with it. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Number 4. Superman Unchained, issue number 3. This is the first issue of Superman Unchained that I can say I truly enjoyed. We get to see who this person is, or what his name is, which I think was the Wraith or Wrath or whatever his name was. And you get to see that he doesn't really want to fight Superman, but Superman is just asking for answers. He's not sure what's going on in here. He's lost of where this character's come from. General Lane has basically sat there and given him all the answers that he's needed. We find out that the Wraith is the true hero, is the true Superman. He works for the army. He saves everything, all the missile crisis, all the all the wars that are going on. Because when he came around in 1938, when you look at it during around the World War I or World War II instances, the world was like this. The Red considered it all bad. And then it got to this, and then it's at this. So General Lane considers the this other Superman or whatnot, the true hero, where Superman is a coward. There's lots of dialogue, lots of story to be read in this particular issue. And at the end of the book, we find out that him and the Wraith, or Wrath, I don't know how you say it, what's it called, wind up working together. But he winds up saying this one line, and he says, you know, it's an honor to work with you, but soon I'm going to have to kill you. And you can see the look on Superman, and he's like, what? What's going on here? So really interesting. And then you get this whole thing with Lois Lane that crashes into the water to try to get help. And it looks like you get Lex Luthor here, who's in this robot thing, who I guess is, I forgot what happened last issue, why he got like this, but he's like in a catatonic state, but he talks like this. So if you guys can just remind me of that. And but I thought this was a great issue. It was really interesting to see finally who this character actually is, what he represents with the army, and it looks like these two are going to wind up fighting in the end. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this issue. A little lengthy in the dialogue, but however, they got to tell the story of where this guy came from and what he's about. So I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. Top three, number 3. Green Lanterns and the New Guardians, issue number 23. More about the Relic here, and the Relic is becoming a formidable character in this new, like, Green Lantern universe, I guess, if you want to call it. In this issue, you get to see the entity of the Blue Lantern Corps taking off, and the Blue Lanterns are like, should we follow it? And they're like, no, just leave it be. Everything's going to work out. Because, you know, our Blue Lanterns are always full of hope and optimism. But what happens in this issue is completely opposite. You wind up getting the Relic that comes aboard into this planet and hopes to destroy all the lightsmiths. That's what he calls them, the lightsmiths, which he calls the lanterns. And he feels that, I guess, the Blue Lanterns are the easiest ones to kill, because without anyone around them, they're really not that strong. But what happens in the issue is you wind up getting Kyle Rayner, and you get Carol Ferris come aboard, and you get the Guardians to come aboard, and they try to assist St. Walker in the whole situation. But their power battery is being drained in each and every fight that's going on within this issue with the Blue Lanterns. And let's just say in this whole particular issue, there's fighting going on, but nothing can stop the Relic. The Relic is basically, you just can't stop it. Kyle just throws everything at the Relic. He throws fear into it, compassion, love, just nothing. Nothing can stop it. So what happens by the end of the issue is that the Blue Lantern winds up losing all its power. It gets completely drained. It gets destroyed. All that's left is the power that's left in their rings. And by the end of the issue, you see that Kyle gets teleported back to Oa to find out, you know, what can we do to stop them, to let the Green Lanterns know. And you get St. Walker that goes with them, but the rest of the Blue Lantern Corps stays behind, and they get obliterated once again. This is the second time in a year that they have gotten destroyed. So really great stuff in this particular issue. It made you feel for this Blue Lantern Corps. It feels like they can't catch a break, and it's sad. It's sad to see St. Walker try so hard, and then yet he gets obliterated once again, and his entire corps gets obliterated. So Relic is on the warpath here, and we'll see where it goes from here. But next issue, you get to learn all about Relic and his origin story in Villains Month. So I'm looking forward to that. So I gotta give this one a 4 out of 5 as well. Number 2. Superior Spider-Man issue number 16. Wonderful issue here. This was a complete issue. You get to see, as I said in my kind of like in-depth review that you saw on this channel, you get to see the death of a hobgoblin in a way, and you get to see the rise of a new goblin, and that goblin is working for the Green Goblin, which we don't know at this point, is Harry Osborn still yet, but is the one that basically is being framed for being the Hobgoblin in the first place, which is true. And everyone is questioning him. Nora Winters is questioning him and whatnot. And we find out that finally Phil kind of breaks it and loses it and becomes, holds Nora hostage here. And he has the sword. So he's showing all his toys. So it proves that he is the Hobgoblin. And in the issue, you also get to see Carly Cooper and Captain Wannabe, which is another Wraith or Wrath, which is funny, try to work together to find out who Superior Spider-Man actually is, because they have a feeling that, it's not Peter Parker. But it's cool to see that they're actually trying to come to a conclusion. So they're going to track all Superior's fundings, because Carly knows that Peter never had any money and that he would never do anything like this. So they're going to track the money and find out who he actually is. So as the issue goes along, we find out that Spider-Man captures the Hobgoblin, like I said, and you get to see the return of Menace, and she winds up breaking free Phil Ulrich, who was getting sent to jail. So we get to see that as well. And he gets recruited into Green Goblin's army. And you also see Nora Winters gets, fired, which was sad to see because she was working with Hobgoblin or whatnot. And again, at the end of the issue, you get to see the rise of a new goblin. So it looks like now they have like a knight of a goblin, or knights of goblins, or whatever you want to call them, goblin knights and their little cronies or whatnot. But this was a fun issue because you got to see a little bit of every character. You get to see the Green Goblin a little bit. You get to see Hobgoblin, as Phil Ulrich, but then he comes a new character. You get to see a little bit of Jay Jonah. You get to see Nora Winters. You get to see, you get to see all that cast, and this didn't focus on Superior. It focused on everybody else around it. So I truly enjoyed this issue. It was really fun, really a fun read. So again, I'm giving this one a 4.5 out of 5. And last but not least, the #1 comic book of the week, boom, 5, issue number 7. This book was great. I forgot to pick this book actually up because I didn't realize it came out. And I thought maybe it was next week, but then I realized that it was this week, and people were telling me it came out this week. And this book is beautiful. It has perfect artwork. It has a great story. I love the artwork. I'm going to show you a page here. This is fantastic. So wonderfully well written and well drawn. We get to see the introduction of a new character, which is Rupture, who is Cisco's brother, who wound up dying in that war when Darkseid wound up making his first appearance in this New 52 universe, which is obviously 5 years ago or whatnot. And he wound up getting taken away and becoming this Rupture person. And this is the first time that Cisco winds up seeing his brother, and he sees him as a formidable foe that's trying to take the person that he cares about right now, which is Gypsy, away. And in this whole issue, you get to witness Cisco trying to get to his brother's head, saying, "Do you remember who I am? We're brothers. We work together. I love you." And no matter what Rupture was doing, or Armando, which is his name, it's like he wanted to stop him from doing the wrong thing. You get to see a little bit of an origin story of where he came from. And by the end of it all, you also get to see Darkseid's daughter, who winds up getting released at the end of the issue, but you don't actually see who she is. And you see Rupture wind up taking Gypsy and Cisco back to their home universe or timeline or wherever it is that they're going, and you find out that he's taking her back to her mother, which is who created him, which was great ending. the characters in this book are fantastic. They're relatable characters. It has a family dynamic, and that's what you look for in a comic. You know, relatable characters, things like that. It makes you care for these characters, and I care for Cisco and Armando and Dante, which is his other brother that's in this book as well. Great book, great read. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. This is my pick of the week. I truly recommend people to don't, you know, shy off Vibe. Don't think he's some generic character. He really is a really good book to read, and great stories here. So if you guys want to know about Volume 1, I don't think it's come out yet, but you can read it digitally. But go out and try this one out. So, guys, there you have it. There's the countdown for the week. 13 books in all. You saw the worst. You saw the best. And, guys, I want to thank you for watching. And, as always, until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spiderslayer signing off. And thanks for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.